Welcome to another week of where we help contractors and home service pros get more leads, close more sales, and improve their profitability, all without spending an extra dime on marketing or advertising. Excited to jump in today. We're going to focus on number 3 today, more profitability. And to give you a little bit of a framework for how we're going to approach this, we're going to talk about a framework that I learned from, or I'm borrowing from Alex Ramosi, who really put a great emphasis on how to break down one of the most important metrics that most people get wrong and aren't using correctly inside their business that really has a huge impact on all of your marketing decisions. And that's lifetime value. We're going to even go a layer deeper on lifetime gross profit. And at the end, we're going to talk about one of the things you can do next and some action steps you can take once you have a feel for what this number is. So without further ado, let's jump into some of the ways to help understand how to calculate what your lifetime value per customer is. So important to understand this because we know that this is different from our average project size. This is different from the average amount of money that someone spends with us, because hopefully if we're doing a good job, customers are going to come back to us more than once, or they're going to refer us out to other people. It's not just a one-time, one and done thing. And so by doing that, we want to understand how much money do we stand to make from every customer every time we do all the work to get them across the board, to get them to sign up with us and hire us and have us done for their project. If we understand that number, we can make better decisions when it comes to evaluating how much can I or should I spend to acquire those customers in the future. So that's why we got to get this number right. We're going to walk through some of the ways for you to calculate it. If you don't know what it is, you're not alone. If you do, then hopefully we'll show you some ways to make sure you can keep tabs on that number so you can, again, make better business decisions when it comes to being more profitable and increasing your profits. So let's jump in and get started. And by the way, if you need some help, we're going to drop some worksheets in this reporting later for to be able to help you run through some of the exercises we're going to show. But let's get started. All right, here we go. So we're going to walk through, there's lots of different approaches. We're going to walk through 2 simple ones today. There is a time frame approach and there's a churn approach. So time frame is going to be the most useful if you're primarily just selling one-off projects, or you're getting, whether it's a bathroom remodel, or it's an addition, or you're installing an HVAC, or you're redoing the plumbing, whatever the case may be. If that's something where it is just a standalone project that you're selling, or project that you're completing for homeowners, this is going to be maybe the best model for you. The second one we're going to get into is going to be more for repeat services. So things like pest control or window cleaning or carpet cleaning subscriptions, or in any of those repeat recurring business models, that's going to be what the second model is for. So if that's you, hang on for just a minute, but we're going to take a second and go through the time frame approach. So in this business, let's say as an example, I've been open for 3 years, and in the first year I did 100,000 in revenue. The second year, I did 200,000. And in the third year, you guessed it, I did 300,000 in revenue. I think if I add that all up, if my math is mathing, that adds up to $600,000 in revenue in 3 years. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to do is understand, okay, well, how many customers have I helped over those 3 years? Now, how many invoices I sent out, but how many customers? Again, there's a difference, and there should be a difference, especially if over the course of 3 years, somebody has hired you more than once. So let's just say for this example, that number is 60 customers total. Well, if I divide that, I end up with $10,000 per customer. So not too hard. Pretty simple, straightforward, but that's just the quickest way to give you an idea. Okay, on average, I usually make about $10,000 per customer. Again, this should be a little bit different from the number of total invoices you set because of the number of projects that you've done. Okay, not that hard. That's just a quick way to get a basic example of what you typically make. Okay, let's look at the churn model. So, and we'll use this again, it's just based over a period of time. So let's say again, in this example, that we're going to evaluate this on maybe the course of a month, because we have something that where we sell people on a monthly basis, or we go back to them on a month to month. Again, if you do quarterly, same logic applies. Well, let's just say the beginning of the time period for which you're evaluating, you have 100 customers. At the end, you have 95. Okay. The difference between those two left over is 5. think we're doing okay on math. Now, again, that's the net difference in total customers you have. Now that means that maybe throughout the course of the month, maybe you added 20 new customers and you had 15, or you added 20 new customers and 25 left. You had 20 new ones and then 25 left. The people that maybe would stay with you for a year, maybe 6 months. A combination of all of those netted out to where you had an overall reduction of 5 loss, or 5 fewer at the end of the month than you get at the beginning. So if you have 5, then you take that 5 that you lost, divide it by the number of customers you had at the beginning, and that means you had a 5% churn rate. Okay, next step. The thing that you sell, let's look at what the average thing that you sell is and what you charge per service. So again, we'll just use for a round number. Let's just say what you're selling is $100 per month or per service. Okay, so if I then take that $100 and I divide it by the 5% churn rate, what that means is my lifetime value per customer is going to be $2,000, again, on average over a period of time. Okay, so even though it's $100 a month, that means that even that quick math is going to tell you that if at $100 a month, if it's $2,000, my math is, if we're sitting with me on pretty simple math, then you're averaging about 20 months before someone quits, or before somebody turns out again, before they become one of the 5 that dropped out in any given month. Again, we can always get more granular, but I just want to give you a quick, simple way to be able to take a look at this so you can then evaluate, okay, how am I doing so far? If you don't know this number already, this is just a way you can gauge it. Okay, so if and now you know that your average lifetime value per customer is $2,000. Okay, you're going to be able to make different decisions, even though you're only selling them something that's $100 per month. Now, where do we take this number and put it into practice? Okay, if I know that in the first example, I'm averaging $10,000 lifetime value per customer, and in the other example, I get $2,000. Okay, we're going to just do a quick break. We'll show you how this works for both examples. If it's 10,000, this is example number 1. Example number 2, it was 2,000. Okay, again, those are both revenue-based numbers. What we want to do next is to be able to then evaluate, okay, what's my typical profitability? Because we want to, again, gauge profitability on top of this. So let's just say in this example, I run a business I take about 30% gross profit. So it's about 70% of cost. So I've got about $3,000 lifetime gross profit. And maybe in this example, we'll just stick with 30% just for convenience. Of course, in the service business, actually, let's go a little higher. Let's go 50. Okay, so then I've got, let's say, $1,000 lifetime gross profit for my service-based business customers that come in. Okay, now let's understand how we're going to use this. We got a pretty basic way to calculate what my lifetime value is or what my lifetime gross profit is per customer. How do we go use this? Now we're going to be able to use it to understand, okay, well, what does it cost me to get these customers? If in one example, it costs you $100 to get a lead, and this is in lead cost. Okay, what that tells you, okay, if it only costs you $100, but you're going to stand to make $3,000, your lead cost, the cost for you to get customers can do what? It can go all the way up to $3,000 before you break even on that customer. I mean, I'm not suggesting you need to go and spend $3,000 to get customers, okay? But sometimes I talk to people all the time where they get nervous when they see their lead costs go up north of $100. We want to take that long-term perspective for us to make the better decision. Okay, you can actually go into much more aggressively into higher expensive channels if you need to grow your business, to be able to then again evaluate, am I still going to be profitable down the road? And in this case, same thing logic applies. If I know that I stand to make $1,000 lifetime gross profit, even if the lead cost is $100, let's just say it's $100 lead cost. Again, ideally it should be less. Again, we're talking about lead costs, whether that's for ads that you're currently doing or other marketing activities or other things you're investing in. Still, same thing applies. Even if you only stand to make $100 on that first service, if it costs you $100 to get that customer, so you're break even on just the first job or first thing that you sold from that customer for your break even, you're still going to come out $900 ahead lifetime. So ideally, we want to get to the point where our lead cost, we're break even on just acquiring leads in the first place. Once we've done that, because we know we tend to make more money down the line or over the lifetime of working with that customer, we're okay. We'll get as many of those leads as we possibly can because we know we have a way to make more money down the road. So we don't want to cut things off too early. We want to make sure we're using the right metric to evaluate it. One other key step, and we'll wrap up today. Okay, we're sticking with me. One other way we want a couple other strategies we can use and evaluate how do we then increase or have a better gauge on what our lifetime gross profit or lifetime value is per customer. As we talked about a little bit earlier, not all customers just are one and done. A lot of times they should, especially if we're doing a good job, they should refer us to other customers. And so what is our referral rate? Because that's going to give us a better idea of how many per customers we get every job that we sell. So let's say our referral rate. There we go. Let's spell it right. Referral rate is, let's just say it's 10%. If I know my referral rate is 10%, my lifetime gross profit is 3,000 without taking into account my referral rate. That's just, we can add that by 10% more because we know that for every customer I get, 10% of them are going to send me another $3,000 valued customer. So then I can actually take up my lifetime gross profit to 3,300. And that's, again, something you'll see as we go back up here, where this will help you get a better clarity for going forward as you start to introduce referral programs and other ways to get more referrals from your existing customer base. And this is where this number is going to start to go up. So instead of getting 60 customers, I know I should get 6 more out of those 60 to be able to get me more referrals down the road, to get me more of those same kinds of projects. Okay, same thing here for in the other example. If my lifetime gross profit before was 1,000, I know that with a 10% referral rate, I can actually expect to get $1,100 from that customer, from both them and from the people that refer. There's another strategy which we won't go into for today, but there's several more. But one of the other things we wanted to then do is, okay, that's my profitability per customer. One other one we can start to look at is, what do I have? Do I have a cross sell and upsell program in place? Because if I do, and how much am I able to cross sell and upsell my customers for, and what percentage of time am I doing those and closing those deals? Because that's going to be another area. Because once you acquire the customer, you don't have to reacquire them again. So that's going to be another way you can start to really rack up how much you're making from each of your customers. Again, it's going to impact, again, overall your lifetime gross profit, expected lifetime gross profit per customer. So either way, hopefully this has been helpful. Love to get your feedback. Love to get to know what your lifetime gross profit is, how it's doing. If you know where it is, if you're not sure, if you need some help breaking some of this down, happy to do it. Drop a comment, let me know, or we'll be able to reach out to you, me or my team, so we can give you some of the tools that you need to be able to, again, make better decisions for your customer acquisition strategy. Again, we'll put some of the copies of the frameworks that you can use, some of the sheets that me and my clients use to be able to help gauge this and help evaluate the success of all their different lead acquisition strategies and lead acquisition channels. So that's it for today. Let me know how it goes, and we'll talk to you soon next week.